The Indus script is a corpus of symbols produced by the Indus Valley Civilization during the Diji and mature Harappan periods between the 35th and 20th centuries BC. Most inscriptions are extremely short. It is not clear if these symbols constitute a script used to record a language, and the subject of whether the Indus symbols were a writing system is controversial. In spite of many attempts at decipherment, it is undeciphered, and no underlying language has been identified. There is no known bilingual inscription. The script does not show any significant changes over time. The first publication of a seal with Harappan symbols dates to 1873, in a drawing by Alexander Cunningham. Since then, over 4,000 inscribed objects have been discovered, some as far afield as Mesopotamia. In the early 1970s, Iravatham Mahadevan published a corpus and concordance of Indus inscriptions listing 3,700 seals and 417 distinct signs in specific patterns. The average inscription contains 5 signs, and the longest inscription is only 17 signs long. He also established the direction of writing as right to left. Some early scholars, starting with Cunningham in 1877, thought that the system was the archetype of the Brahma script. Cunningham's ideas were supported by scholars, such as G. R. Hunter, S. A. Rao, F. Raymond Elchin, John Newbery, Iravatham Mahadevan, Krishna Rao, some of whom continue to argue for an Indus predecessor of the Brahmic script. An opposing hypothesis that has been offered by Michael Witzel and Steve Farmer, is that these symbols were non-linguistic signs which instead symbolized families, clans, gods, and religious concepts. Corpus. Early examples of the symbol system are found in an early Harappan and Indus civilization context, dated to possibly as early as the 35th century BC. In the mature Harappan period, from about 2600 BC, strings of Indus signs are most commonly found on flat, rectangular stamp seals, but they are also found on at least a dozen other materials including tools, miniature tablets, copper plates, and pottery. Late Harappan. After 1900 BC, the systematic use of the symbols ended, after the final stage of the mature Harappan civilization. A few Harappan signs have been claimed to appear until as late as around 1100 BC. Onshore explorations near Betwalka in Gujarat revealed the presence of late Indus seals depicting a 3-headed animal, earthen vessel inscribed in what is claimed to be a late Harappan script, and a large quantity of pottery similar to lustrous redware bowl and redware dishes, dish on stand, perforated jar and incurved bowls which are datable to the 16th century BC in Dwarka, Rangpur and Prabhas. The thermoluminescence date for the pottery in Bet Dwaraka is 1528 BC. This evidence has been used to claim that a late Harappan script was used until around 1500 BC. In May 2007, the Tamil Nadu Archaeological Department found pots with arrowhead symbols during an excavation in Melappuram Palam near Pumpur. These symbols are claimed to have a striking resemblance to seals unearthed in Mohenjo-daro in the 1920s. In one purported decipherment of the script, the Indian archaeologist S. A. Rao argued that the late phase of the script represented the beginning of the alphabet. He notes a number of striking similarities in shape and form between the late Harappan characters and the Phoenician letters, arguing that the Phoenician script evolved from the Harappan script, challenging the classical theory that the first alphabet was Proto-Sinaitic. Characteristics. The characters are largely pictorial but includes many abstract signs. The inscriptions are thought to have been mostly written from right to left, but sometimes follows a boustrophedonic style. The number of principal signs is about 400, comparable to the typical sign inventory of a logosyllabic script. Decipherability question. An opposing hypothesis that has been offered by Michael Witzel and Steve Farmer, is that these symbols were non-linguistic signs which instead symbolized families, clans, gods, and religious concepts. In a 2004 article, Farmer, Sproat, and Witzel presented a number of arguments that the Indus script is non-linguistic, principal among them being the extreme brevity of the inscriptions, the existence of too many rare signs, and the lack of the random-looking sign repetition typical of language. Though it remains controversial. Asko Poplar, reviewing the Farmer, Sproat, and Witzel thesis in 2005, states that their arguments can be easily controverted. He cites the presence of a large number of rare signs in Chinese, and emphasizes that there is little reason for sign repetition in short seal texts written in an early logosyllabic script. Revisiting the question in a 2007 lecture, Papala takes on each of the 10 main arguments of Farmer al., presenting counter-arguments for each. He states that even short noun phrases and incomplete sentences qualify as full writing if the script uses the rebus principle to phonetize some of its signs. A 2009 paper published by Rajesh P. N. Rao, Iravatham Mahadevan, and others in the journal Science challenged the argument that the Indus script might have been a non-linguistic symbol system. The paper concludes that the conditional entropy of Indus inscriptions closely matches those of linguistic systems like the Sumerian logosyllabic system, Old Tamil, Rigvedic Sanskrit etc., though they are careful to stress that this does not mean that the script is linguistic. A follow-up study elaborated on these claims. Sproat in turn notes a number of misunderstandings in Rao al., a lack of discriminative power in their model, and that applying their model to known non-linguistic systems such as Mesopotamian deity symbols produces similar results to the Indus script. Their responses, and Sproat's reply, were published in Computational Linguistics in December 2010. The June 2014 issue of Language carries a paper by Sproat that provides further evidence that Rao al.'s methodology is flawed. Attempts at decipherment. Over the years, numerous decipherments have been proposed, but there is no established scholarly consensus. The following factors are usually regarded as the biggest obstacles for a successful decipherment. The underlying language has not been identified, though some 300 loan words in the Rig Veda are a good starting point for comparison. The average length of the inscriptions is less than 5 signs, the longest being only 17 signs. No bilingual texts have been found. The topic is popular among amateur researchers, and there have been various decipherment claims. Dravidian hypothesis. The Russian scholar Yuri Norizov surmised that the symbols represent a logosyllabic script and suggested, based on computer analysis, an underlying agglutinative Dravidian language as the most likely candidate for the underlying language. Norizov's suggestion was preceded by the work of Henry Heras, who suggested several readings of signs based on a Proto-Dravidian assumption. The Finnish scholar Asko Papala writes that the Indus script and Harappan language most likely to have belonged to the Dravidian family. Papala led a Finnish team in the 1960s-80s that vied with Norizov's Soviet team in investigating the inscriptions using computer analysis. Based on a Proto-Dravidian assumption, they proposed readings of many signs, some agreeing with the suggested readings of Heras and Norizov but disagreeing on several other readings. A comprehensive description of Papala's work until 1994 is given in his book Deciphering the Indus Script. The discovery in Tamil Nadu of a late Neolithic stone celt allegedly marked with Indus signs has been considered by some to be significant for the Dravidian identification. Iravatham Mahadevan, who supports the Dravidian hypothesis, says, "We may hopefully find that the Proto-Dravidian roots of the Harappan language and South Indian Dravidian languages are similar. This is a hypothesis. But I have no illusions that I will decipher the Indus script, nor do I have any regret." Sanskritic hypothesis. Indian archaeologist Shikaripura Ranganatha Rao claimed to have deciphered the Indus script. Postulating uniformity of the script over the full extent of Indus-era civilization, he compared it to the Phoenician alphabet, and assigned sound values based on this comparison. His decipherment results in an Sanskritic reading, including the numerals Alika, Tra, Shitas, Panta, Happta Sapta, Dasa, Vidasa, Sata. John E. Michener has dismissed some of these attempts at decipherment. Michener mentions that a more soundly based but still greatly subjective and unconvincing attempt to discern an Indo-European basis in the script has been that of Rao. In coding, the Indus symbols have been assigned the ISO 15924 codons. It was proposed for encoding in Unicode's supplementary multilingual plane in 1999. However, the Unicode Consortium still list the proposal in pending status. See also, Early Indian epigraphy, undeciphered scripts, Bronze Age writing, Proto-writing, notes. References. External links: Indus script, Discovery of a Century in Tamil Nadu, the Indus script, BBC earliest writing found, How Come We Can't Decipher the Indus Script? Iravatham Mahadevan, Towards a Scientific Study of the Indus Script, Studies in Indus Scripts, I by S. Srikanta published in Quarterly Journal of Mythic Society, Vol. XXIV, No. 3, Studies in Indus Scripts, 2 by S. Srikanta published in Quarterly Journal of Mythic Society, Vol. XXIV, No. 4, Script Image. Article, Collection of Essays about the Indus Script, Wired.com, Computers Unlock More Secrets of the Mysterious Indus Valley Script. Science Daily. August 4, 2009 A. Rao, Rajesha Rosetta Stone for a Lost Language TED Talks.